Good morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told out of Voice of Radio. So today, we need to take a little bit of a look at the very first ever Regidrago card in the history of the Pokemon trading card game. Just yesterday, I showed you the debut of Regidrago, and I told you how the name of that particular Pokemon was awkward, to say the least. Well, Regidrago has a much less awkward name and is also making its debut, and I like that we've only had to wait a day. Now, once again, we do have a translation coming from a Chinese image rather than the usual Japanese that we tend to have leaks from, or at least we always did in the past. So, it's the usual deal. The lovely Primal Lugia has been over onto Google Translate. We've compared it with other cards, etc. And looking at Google Translate and comparisons with other cards, we're fairly sure we've got a nice translation rolling for it. So that's quite nice. Now, obviously, Regidrago is a dragon Pokemon, and this is a pretty big deal. Now, initially, this was what I wanted to see. Regidrago was the card I most wanted to see in the Pokemon TCG, purely because we didn't know what was happening with Dragon Pokemon, but Regidrago is pure Dragon, and they cannot not make a Regidrago card, new exciting legendary Pokemon, etc. So there is a real question of exactly how this is going to work. Now we knew Dragon Pokemon are coming back. It's not quite the mystery it was before. For that, I apologize. But make no mistake about it, this is a very exciting card indeed. Is it a good card, though? Well, we're starting off with 130 HP, which is nice. It means that all those Pokemon that hit 120, things like Urshifu, etc., won't be getting a KO. It's one of the big numbers. 120, 130, I say it a lot, I'm sorry, it's true. It's one of the big numbers. Retreat cost of free is not particularly good. It means you don't get free retreat with Air Balloon, which is actually kind of sucky. But do remember that being a dragon Pokemon means you have no weakness. That is one of the things about dragon Pokemon. Now, you're not hitting anything for weakness, being a dragon Pokemon, but you're not being hit for weakness, so that's kind of a bonus. So in terms of attacks, the first attack here is not particularly exciting. 2 energy, 30 damage. Now, when I showed you Regidrago yesterday, I showed you 1 energy, 20 damage, and I told you that that was not a very exciting attack. And incidentally, it wasn't. Well, this is even less exciting. Now, to be fair, we've got twin energy, and that's going to survive rotation. And there's another energy acceleration option we're going to look at in a moment that will also work. But it's 2 energy, 30 damage, and you're not hitting anything for weakness. So it's not even like you can whack a Vitality Band on there and find a 70 or 80 HP evolving Pokemon and get cheeky KOs. You know, if you're a grass type and you can get to 40 damage, Galarian Zigzagoon goes down. And a bunch of decks are playing Galarian Zigzagoon, there's a chance that they go first and it's left in the active, and on your first turn you can go and get a cheeky KO. But 30 damage on a dragon Pokemon ain't good enough. But don't worry, because the second attack totally is. 2 grass, 1 fire energy, 240 damage. This attack does 20 less damage for each damage counter on this Pokemon. Nice. Essentially, if, and this is a big if of course, we can keep Regidrago free from damage, we can just kind of sit and play around doing a really rather impressive amount of damage indeed. That would be nice, that would be lovely, that would make us happy. So, how do we get the energy on? And here I've got a really nice answer for you, it's Cherim. I told you when Cherim was released that Cherim was a great card. I also told you that Cherim didn't have particularly good partners. Like, one of the legitimate best partners was Tapu Bulu. 3 energy, 80 damage, discard it all, do 160. That was like one of the best partners we had. The other good partner for it was Maractus. And don't get me wrong, right? I love Maractus from Sword and Shield. It's a super fun card. But it's flip a coin for each energy on Maractus, 60 damage for each head. It's very flippy, not to be relied upon, and 110 HP Pokemon. It is just too awkward. But now we've got Regidrago, And I think Regidrago instantly becomes the best partner for Cherim. Because, now don't get me wrong, Regidrago is grass, fire, so you do need to get a fire energy on there, but bearing in mind that fire energy can be your attachment for the turn, so you can easily attach all three of these in one go. Yes, it does make things a little bit more awkward. You've got to have the 2 grass, you've got to have the fire, boo, hiss, etc. Although, bearing in mind, I would say energy spinner, but that's going to rotate out when this comes out, which is really sad. Energy Spinner would be amazing here. Turn 1, go second, Energy Spinner for 2 grass and a fire, go for it. But that's rotating out. Actually, super annoyingly as well, we're also losing Viridian Forest. Viridian Forest, remember, lets you discard a card in your hand and then search for a basic energy in your deck. So if you're only playing, a couple of fire energy for Regidrago, you can find them more easily. Losing Energy Spinner and Viridian Forest is a low-key, pretty big deal, just in terms of actually being able to get your energy. When you're playing just the odd bit of energy here and there, the odd fire energy, this is actually super annoying. Boo, hiss, etc. Sad times, let's move on. But make no mistake about it, if you've got a fresh Regidrago, 2 grass, fire, 240. And 240 will get Pokemon V. There are very rare Pokemon V out there like Steelix, for instance. Steelix comes in with 250 HP. Clearly, that is awkward. You're a little bit low. But having said that, even then, you only need a Vitality Band and you'll get a KO. Obviously, then you end up with a few things like Wailord that are, shall we say, outside your remit. So what we've got here, and fine, you're not getting VMAXs, you're not getting any VMAXs because you're never hitting for weakness. So you're not getting VMAXs, but you are getting Pokemon V, and I think you can afford to 2-hit KO VMAXs for free prizes, while they're 1-hit KOing you for 1. That still absolutely works. And do remember that if you're playing a grass deck, there's nothing to stop you playing a line of, for instance, Decidueye, to go and get some blocking in on them or something along those lines. So yeah, that's something we might be considering. Of course, question number 1 is getting the energy on. The answer is Cherim, I think we're okay. Question number 2 is how do we keep it completely and utterly undamaged? Because if your opponent drops Galarian Zigzagoon, you go down to 220, and that's fine, because the vast majority of Pokemon V have 220 or below. So you're fine. But what if your opponent then uses Scoop Up Net? Then you're down to 200. And then your opponent's got something like a Zacian that all of a sudden you can't KO. Although, to be honest with you, you really want to hit 210, 220. Once you get down to 200, a lot. Pretty much the vast majority of relevant Pokemon V are outside your remit. But I'm not really that worried. I mean, honestly, if you just want the easy option here, Scoop Up Net. Literally just use Scoop Up Net to pick up Regidrago, put it back down, attach the energy, and smash. Honestly, here, my preference would be trying not to get the energy on too early, so you can Scoop Up Net a fresh Pokemon if you need to, ensuring that there's no damage on there. Obviously, there are a bunch of healing options, not Cheryl. Cheryl only heals evolved Pokemon, Boo, Hiss, etc. But there are a bunch of healing cards. None of them are amazing. We don't have Max Potion right now. That's just not an option. So we've got a few healing options. None of them are particularly great. They'll all work. If your opponent is just trying to chip away, then clearly you could just use any healing you like and you'll be fine. If your opponent's trying to deal like 40 damage, you can heal 30 with a potion. And then you got 10 damage there and you're hitting 220. And like I've said, 220 is the key. I mean, Potion is legitimately viable here. If you want to completely heal, we do actually have a decent option here. It's Hyper Potion. Now, Hyper Potion makes you discard 2 energy to heal 120. But bearing in mind, you've got 130 HP, which means if you've got more than 120 damage on, you're KO'd. So, really doesn't matter. And then you're only discarding 2 energy rather than 3. So actually, a moment ago when I said we don't have any perfect options, I underestimated Hyper Potion. I'd like to change my mind on that one. Hyper Potion can completely heal Regidrago. And this is the deck, incidentally. This is how it works. Cherrim to accelerate energy, healing / scoop up net, and just prey on Pokemon V. And sure, maybe you don't have the answers for everything. Maybe spreading decks are too awkward. Maybe VMAXs are a bit of a pain. But play other cards. You know, a 4-4 Cherrim line, and 3-3 will probably be fine. 4 Regidrago, put something else in there. I love Regidrago as a single prize deck with Cherrim. And I think Cherrim being a stage 1 is huge. Because we know that stage 2s don't always work like this. We know this particular ability has won Worlds multiple times. Emboar won Worlds with this ability. And Blastoise won Worlds with this ability. This is a Worlds winning ability, but that was back in both of those situations where stage 2s were in a better place or had some cheats. Now we got a stage 1. I love Regidrago. I'm giving it between 4 and 5 Wassies. We don't give half Wassies. That would be barbaric. Yes, you've got to have the fire energy and that's awkward. Yes, the damage does go down pretty quickly. But this is a free energy Pokemon where you can accelerate energy with Cherrim that should be running through Pokemon V for 2 prizes pretty easily. Tell me that's not worth a play, ladies and gentlemen. Tell me that's not worth a play. I think it's worth a play, but I want to know what you think. So let me know in the comment section, would you? Go nuts! Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at @TheWassie, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCG Radio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that good stuff, head on over to patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can do exactly that. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.